Bourgeoisie produces, above all, art zone. Gravediggers.
The wine has kicked in. The candles are low on the wick. And yeah, I'm drinking some more wine, enjoying this quarantine. What are you reading, Erin?
Well, recently I've been reading a lot for this podcast. I've been reading literal encyclopedias. Like I downloaded a bunch of, it's like the Encyclopedia of Murder, the Encyclopedia of Terrorism, the Encyclopedia of Cybercrime. Like if you guys have any relevant encyclopedia recommendations, send them my way.
I mean, your search history would make for a hoot down at the local NSA office.
Oh my God. I'm not going to say exactly what our future episodes are because we've decided to kind of like keep those cards close to the vest for now. But my search history has literally been like, how is Al Qaeda funded?
It reminds me of when I was in university studying chemistry, and I would search like for like actual experiments. I'd be like, what are the properties of chloroform? What are the properties of nitroglycerin? And it's just basically like either like roofies or like actual explosive stuff. But I'm actually researching it, so like I'm actually using it in the lab. But like I wouldn't be surprised if I'm on like 8 different lists right now.
Yeah. For fun, though, I try to always be reading a book for fun. If you didn't already know this, a couple socialist publishers, so Haymarket is one of them, Verso is the other, and the book I'm talking about is from Verso. They have offered some free ebook downloads during the quarantine for people to keep ourselves entertained. So I took them up on that, and I'm reading Yesterday's Man, The Case Against Joe Biden by, and I'm sorry if I say this name wrong, Branko Marketic? By our friend Branko.
Yeah, he was on Chapo a couple of weeks ago, or I think last week, discussing his book. I haven't read it personally, but he's a Jacobin contributor, or a staff writer, I think.
It's a good book. It is well researched for sure. The only sort of question I have is who exactly is his audience? But maybe I'm just speaking from like the wrong standpoint, because I started the book like already believing that Joe Biden is a corporate shill, and I've read it and been like, yeah. And I don't know, is he appealing to people who like Joe Biden and trying to convince them why they should vote for someone like Bernie Sanders, like, which is a respectable thing to do, but I don't know how much of that audience this book is going to reach. That's my only concern.
My theory is that this book is written for people like us who know that Biden is a shill, but it's written in such a way that it allows us to easily and quickly articulate why Biden is a shill to people who would otherwise support Biden. So like your Mimas, your Peepaws, your local like church group, what have you. Instead of like, rambling about like Epstein and Little St. James, you could like quickly articulate why Biden is not your friend in terms of like social security and the crime bill and all that stuff. And the war in Iraq, of course.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely a really well-researched piece. 100%.
I honestly, like, Biden is not so much yesterday's man as like last century's man. Like, it's incredible seeing him shuffle over to the stage and basically his brain is melting out of his ears. And like his staff has probably injected him with enough adrenaline to kill a small elephant to keep him awake long enough to have that debate with Bernie. And yet people will still look at him and be like, yep, this guy is mentally competent enough to be president.
I was telling my dad earlier when we were outside raking leaves, couldn't make this story up if I tried. He was asking me about our podcast because I've alluded to making a podcast. And he said, what is it about? And I said something like stuff, like it's about things. And he goes, you should make, I swear to God he said this, he goes, you should make a podcast called Okay Boomer, and you talk about things of your generation, and then I comment on them, and you say, okay Boomer.
Can we do that? Can we actually do that as like bonus episodes? You know, the LCBO, the sort of the liquor stores of Ontario, are like one of the few stores that remain open in Canada, or in Ontario at least.
Oh, liquor stores have done well.
I mean, when you have nothing else to do, the sort of agreed upon activity is to drink.
To listen to the full episode and receive more bonus content in the future, you can pledge $5 or more at patreon.com/DosCriminal. Thank you for your support, and we'll be back next week with another free episode.